Which commanders are worth putting universal legendary commander sculptures into right now? Often I will talk about commanders being a good investment or a bad investment. So this is going to be a tier list that'll make it really easy for you to see which commanders are a great investment in Rise of Kingdoms as of the summer of 2022. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming and this video is sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms. And unlike the monthly tier list that I put out, which gives you a very detailed breakdown of where each commander has its strengths and weaknesses, I wanted to put together an extremely simple list and see if you found it helpful or not, where you can see whether or not a commander is a good investment or a bad investment for your average free-to-play or low-spend open fielder. A big part of the reason I decided to make this list is because of the sorts of questions I get in my live streams. For example, people will ask if they should invest in Herald now, and there's a bunch of commanders I think they should have done first, and they haven't done them. Or, for example, people will be like 3 years into Season of Conquest, and they're like, I'm going to go back and do my E-Song. And it's like, wait, why are you doing your E-Song now? You're already in Season of Conquest. So this video will help differentiate between whether or not the commander is good and whether or not they are actually worth putting universal legendary commander sculptures into right now. We're breaking down the listings as follows. At the very top, we call this the top priority. A commander, for example, like Nevsky, is a top priority commander. When you get to KVK Season 4 and beyond, yes, this is an amazing investment, a great use of your sculptures. An example of a low priority commander is going to be Guan Yu. He is awesome, but he's not going to be as good as our top priority, best of the best, must get these right away commanders. From there, we'll have commanders that you really should only be working on or acquiring or thinking about as a project before the Season of Conquest. That's KVK Seasons 1, 2, and 3. And a perfect example of a commander like that is Alexander the Great. That's the sort of project you already want to have finished by the time you get to KVK Season 4 and beyond. From there, we have commanders that are in really just a niche role, like if you're a rally lead or a garrison captain, or if you already have all of these commanders that I'm going to recommend in the higher priorities, sorted out and expertise, and you somehow have tons of sculptures. I mean, now we're really talking about spenders. Spenders look at these niche role commanders. So, for example, we'll put, let's go with Artemisia in there. Like, yeah, she's fine in the open field, but you have way better open field investment choices than Artemisia. And sure, she technically has a role as a garrison commander with the Amonitory Artemisia garrison, but it basically gets dunked by the majority of the rallies right now, and you mostly can't use it. Not if you expect to get a good trade against a team that knows what they're doing. So she goes in this niche role category. 99% of players or more shouldn't even be thinking about the commanders in the niche role category. From there, the just know category is for commanders like, oh man, I mean, I'll try to pick someone that's completely uncontroversial. We'll go with Hannibal Barca. I mean, if you want to spend your money on him and you're a big whale, sure, you could do the before Season of Conquest only category for that. But since we're talking about free-to-play or low spenders for this list, we're just going to put them in the just know category. And then we have the free category, which means like you acquire them for free, like Ethelfled. Yeah, you should work on Ethelfled, but it was free to you. You should be getting that anyways. If you want to see the full underpinning for the logic behind how I make all of the choices you're going to see in this video, there's going to be a card actually up in the top. Maybe I'll put a link in the description, but probably a card up in the top showing you how I think about investing in commanders, which ones are a good investment and why, and which ones are a bad investment. So I won't re-explain all that here, and let's get started, and we'll go in the order that these are presented in. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to Omniarch, who actually made the 2022 legendary tier list in Tier Maker for me to then rearrange into this sort of a configuration to present to you today. So thanks, Omniarch, and let's get started, shall we? Amonitory is a great garrison commander, but fills a niche role. Amonitory and Artemisia are great in the field together, but they're actually not all that special. They don't really have that much march speed at all. They don't have any special debuffs. They're just damage. They're completely a whale's play to go and invest those two commanders. Similarly, Attila. Sorry, buddy. Sure, you've got an Attila Nevsky rally, but your average players shouldn't be thinking about Attila really at all, in my opinion, until the top priority, low priority commanders are all expertised. From there, Bertrand, same spot, niche role. There is a role for him in a rally situation, but he's not all that great in the field. He's not special anyways, not compared to all your other options. I don't think he's worth putting sculptures into unless you are a rally lead and you really wanted a specific sort of a rally fired off. I'll also say that Flavius is a great garrison commander, but free to play, low spend open field. You're not looking at Flavius, not at all. Just know, Freddy, sorry, buddy. No, don't put universals into almost all the gold key commanders. It's pretty much a bad plan. Of a couple exceptions, but mostly just no. From there, Boudica Prime. Top priority, baby. Top priority. Put her right up top. These are the commanders you got to do first before you think about any of the other ones. Double C, not really. I mean, like, technically for your Barb Fort rallies, but just no, not for universals. Chandragupta, great open field commander, actually very niche role. Most people just don't have the velocity of sculptures that they're getting to be able to work on this sort of a commander. He's pretty solid. Oh, a very clear just no. Boom. Charlemagne, get out of here. No, absolutely not. Before Season of Conquest only. I'm going to explain this. Charles Martel. Charles Martel actually is pretty decent, even in the Season of Conquest. I don't think you should put universals into him. Not really. But it wouldn't be like a tragedy if you took him to like 5-5-1-1 before your first season of KVK. But if you're already in Season of Conquest, there's really like no question you should not be putting any universals into your gold key commanders. And I mean, like, God, like maybe if you're about to fight in a KVK, like maybe you can twist my arm that, you know, like you're 20 sculptures away from the expertise. Like maybe, but probably not. Like once you expertise a gold key commander, every time you get them from a gold key, their sculpture is almost 100% worthless to you. And I really wish that the game did something different. Like they had some sort of shop where you turned in them for something more than like 50 minutes of speed ups, which is how it works today. I'm on a tangent. I'm just going to move on to the just no category. And I'm going to give, dude, I'm giving CJ the just no category because he's completely unremarkable. He's not good for swarming garrisons. So if you're a whale, like you're not interested, you need to be swarming garrisons. He's good in the field. Like all he is a fielder. Like he sucks in Canyon. You could argue that he belongs in the niche role category, and some people will be mad I put CJ here. In fact, there'll be a whole string of comments about why CJ is this niche role dude that does cool things. But he has to be one of the worst investments I have made on my restart account where I have CJ and I use him. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's completely unremarkable, and when your sculptures are limited, you want effects and commanders that are remarkable. From there, just no, don't no universals and gathering commanders. Sorry, Cleo. And this is a weird one. I'll put him in niche role, but Constantine, I mean, obviously he's a god in Canyon. He's actually the best commander in Canyon in the game, but you're not really using him in field, and so you shouldn't be making investments for Canyon. Okay, that's not a good use of your legendary commander sculptures. The reasoning there, I think, is pretty obvious, although you might lower your frustration to win a little more, maybe a little more in Canyon. What I'll say is that the commanders you invest in the open field have a multiplying effect on your resources and your speed ups. That's why these are the most important ones. Niche role, Cyrus. Love your debuffs, buddy. But no, niche role. Edward of Woodstock, I'm going to put him in the just no category. Remember, this is a free-to-play low spender list. If you were a whale, KVK Season 2, Edward of Woodstock actually does work. El Cid goes in the just no category. Shouldn't put universals into him. Gilgamesh, niche role. He is actually pretty strong with his effects. 30% health is amazing. Instant proc debuffs on him, making the target take extra skill damage is a pretty big deal. Khan goes in the just no category. Same story as Edward of Woodstock here. I mean, if you were a super whale, yeah, you're going to wreck people in KVK Season 2, but you get to Season of Conquest, and here's your reality check. Harold's got a niche role for the Pakal Herald combo. If you really wanted to be a cheeseburger player, which is not actually, like, it's not actually a thing being a cheeseburger player. Like, that's a thing you do to get extra value because you're there. But, man, Pakal Herald, they are pretty nasty for that. Henry, obviously a great rally. Niche role. Ishida, just no. It's gathering commander. Honda Tadakatsu, I bump him up to the low priority. He is in some ways unremarkable because he doesn't really have, like, he just sort of does damage and mitigates damage, but he's so versatile, like so ridiculously versatile, and his power level's high enough that he is a pretty solid priority. I mean, I have used him with infantry, I've used him with archers, and I've used him with cavalry, and that's a pretty strong signal that a commander that is that versatile will be a decent investment for you for a long time in the game, right? Remember, we're looking for value of the investment. This is not a pure assessment of the sort of value of the commanders on their own. Jadwiga, niche role, garrison captain only. Just Know, Julius Caesar. Pakal, niche role, right? Pakal Herald, we talked about that. I'll put them together. They're buddies. Oh my gosh, they jumped down to the next row. Whatever. Now they're together. From there, Leonidas. This is a tough one because he is a strong commander, but a bad investment right now. So I'm either putting him in the Just Know category or we'll put him in the niche role category. The reason I say that is he really does nothing unique, okay? He does damage enhancement. He does a little bit of damage, right? And a bunch of tankiness. He's actually like a Honda Tadakatsu, but only for infantry and really only with Leonidas, which is why we'll give him niche role. And that's why Honda is like way higher on the list. Again, a 5.5/1/1 Leo is a strong commander to have in the field, but it's not a great investment right now. Okay, Lubu is a Just Know. Just say no to Lubu. Okay, Mehmed is one of those weird, like, he's actually pretty solid. I don't think you should put universals in him, but if you did a little bit before Season of Conquest, like, I would understand. I wouldn't say it's a great choice, but I would understand because he's still good in Season of Conquest. Like, I am about to fight using Mehmed on my restart account. So, like, yeah, that makes sense. Minamoto, it's not free. Okay, you have to spend money on it. So I'm gonna give it niche role. Maybe I put it in before Season of Conquest only. If you wanted to spend money on Minamoto before Season of Conquest, you actually can use him in Season of Conquest, and you use him for Barb Forts for the rest of the time. Like, if you're gonna max Mina, you do it really early and just start getting value early. Man, Moctezuma, what a sad story. I wanted him to be good. The only time I've been rallied by Moctezuma, it had no expertise on it. It was hilarious. From there, I guess we could say Mulan has kind of a niche role, but I don't think you should put universals in Mulan. Like, if you're going to get Mulan, you do it from gold keys and you do it from the daily special. So I'm going to say Just Know from the perspective of using universal legendary commander sculptures. I think it's pretty bad. Nebu's a tricky one. I'm going to put him low priority, but he is borderline just niche role. And let me explain. The problem with Nebu is that he's actually kind of unremarkable. The only reason people like him right now is because he's march speed, defense, a little bit of rage reduction to the enemy, and he's an archer, and he's got AoE, right? And that's all cool, but there's no special debuff. Like, Boudica Prime makes the target take more skill damage. That is wicked. It's powerful. Her overall kit is very powerful. Boom. I think we'll leave Nebu low priority for now, and then we'll readjust maybe later. Let's keep going. Ragnar's in the Just Know category. Ramses belongs in the Just Know category. I'm not saying he's a bad commander if you have him. I'm saying compared to all your other options at this point, this is not a commander you would prioritize. Top priority, then low priority are the areas that a player should look that hasn't had any of these projects. I know there are a lot of people who have Ramses. Ramses is a good commander to use if you have him. But again, because of the fact that a lot of the top priority, low priority commanders now have defense reduction effects, I'll show you that in a minute, and these effects don't stack with Ramses, Ramses basically at that point becomes relegated to just being kind of a stat stick. Like, he makes your march a little more tanky, gives a little more march speed, only works with archers. Okay? So this is not an assessment, again, of how good a commander is or bad a commander is right now. It is how worthy they are of your universal legendary commander sculptures now. Let's keep going. Richard I, before Season of Conquest only, ideally just Wales. Okay? I'm putting him there because, yeah, like, before Season of Conquest, he's pretty strong. And even if you were free to play or low spend, like, you'd be really happy for KVK 1 through 3. I just think you'll feel really differently when you hit KVK 4 and beyond. Same story with Saladin, actually. This is a great commander to be working on before you get to Season of Conquest, so you can enjoy him early if you're going to work on him. Otherwise, there are now really strong cavalry that you would choose instead of Saladin. I'm not saying he's bad. I actively use him. So I'm just saying, if you're choosing where to invest, maybe other places. Oh, Skippy Prime, right to the top, baby. I mean, It's debatable which of these are the highest priority. I think I would put them in that order. You got your Skippy, your Nevsky, then your Boudica Prime, probably in that order. But again, it all depends on who you're going to be pairing with and what march you need to kind of round out. From there, Sundok, just no. Solomon, no. Takeda, I get that he technically has a niche role with Attila, but like you really shouldn't be investing in Takeda anymore. Like that ship has sailed, my friends. Even Theodora, it's like a city defense commander. And there's a lot of other commanders that you could just use on your city, and it's going to be fine, and you can use them for more than just your city. Like, I don't even want to give her a niche role. Like, she's just not really a commander you should invest in right now. Maybe that'll change. Zenobia, let's give her the niche role. I'm also going to drop Thutmose. I don't know. This is really a whale move. Gosh darn it. I'm going to put Thutmose in the just no category, keeping in mind that this is a free-to-play, low-spender, open fielding guide. But if you were a whale and you expertise Thutmose early, I mean, I think you're going to slap, man. I think it's going to be really strong. Tommy, this is so interesting. I don't think you want to put universals into Tommy. We're going to give her niche role. Daily special offer, really great pickup. Nebu with Tommy, really good in the open field. People were really critical of that for a very long time. And then all the best players and teams started using it. And people are still realizing and waking up to how strong that combo is. It's just all about Tommy's skill damage taken debuff. People, I think, are still coming to the realization that I shared, honestly, like a couple years ago, where I was like, open field's all about area of effect damage and skill damage and debuffs and march speed. And like people are starting to really, I think, see that that is like fully true. Whatever. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. Free. Okay. These are the two siege commanders that come from the Heroic Anthem power-up KVK. And then from here, Trajan. What a weird one. I'm going to give him niche role. I don't think he deserves low priority at this state in the meta. But he is a strong commander. He is a very strong commander. William, however, ooh, yeah, bump him up, baby. William's awesome. I'm gonna scoot him to the left. When you hit multiple targets, William gives a bunch of rage and defense to your armies. Huge. So good. When you start popping off with that, man, your whole team just goes next level. They go Super Saiyan. I don't know. Wuzitian. This is like a whale move early on. We're going to just go just no for open fielding for free-to-play low spenders, obviously. Then we're going to put XY up top in the low priority category. He's strong. I'm giving him low priority. I'm going to put him at the back of the list. I'll talk about why. In fact, let's say why now. So we're about to get leadership commanders, presumably. And then after the leadership cycle, we're going to get the Cav cycle again. So this is a weird time to invest in XY because I would bet you that we're like 3.5 to 4 months away from getting new Cavs. And those new Cavs could be stronger than XY. They probably will. One of them probably will be anyways. So I'm putting it low priority because he's so strong. Depending on how many Cav marches you make, you may be like, eh, whatever, it's fine. But I think he's the bottom of that list because I think he could be getting a little bump down pretty soon. And then, wow, Esong all the way at the bottom. Esong, I'm going to put right up here and before Season of Conquest only, okay? This is a project you want to start and finish before Season of Conquest. I'm not saying if you have like a 5-5, 5-2 Esong that you shouldn't finish it off if you're in Season of Conquest. What I'm saying is that you should aim to have any of these projects that you're really working on before Season of Conquest to whatever state you wanted to get them to as soon as you can. So, for example, if you were going to be doing Alexander the Great, I mean, ideally, by the time you're in KVK 3 and you're fighting there, your Alexander the Great's already expertised. Even if you didn't get that, like a 5-5, 5-1 Alexander the Great is still awesome, and you're still going to be really happy with that in Season of Conquest. But once you're in Season of Conquest, you're going to be like, bro, do I put more sculptures in Alex, or do I jam out my new Skippy Prime? The answer is going to be Skippy Prime, right? And then here's YSS, niche role, right? It's a garrison commander. Obviously, it's really strong right now, but we don't know how long that will be the case, given that we've got new leadership commanders showing up. Like YSS 2.0 could be just around the corner. And this is your open field, legendary investment tier list. Remember, this is how good of an investment the commander is right now. If you don't have Skippy Prime, Nevsky, or Boudica Prime expertise, that's where you should be looking. Even if you're especially if you're a spender. And once you have those done, you should be looking to the second row where it's like, okay, do I have a Guan Yu kicking? Not yet. That's probably a top priority. If you're using 5 marches in the field especially, you should be looking at William. Say like, all right, is it time to invest in William? You could look at a commander like Hana Tadakatsu. I would say Nebu and XY they're at the tail end of this list, and that's very intentional. They're remaining in the roles that they're in is, I think, something that is coming into question. And I think answer to that will only really show up in like 6 months. But that's why this is an investment guide. If you put sculptures and the commanders toward the top of the list, I think you're going to feel really, really, really good about those investments for a long time. And if you're considering one of these commanders that's in the niche role category, I think you really should think again. You really need to know exactly what you're doing and why you are investing in them if you're going to pick one of these niche role commanders. I am not saying the niche role commanders are bad. And I'm going to say this again because I know I'm going to see so many comments about this. This is not assessing the quality of these commanders in the open field. It is assessing how long I think you will get value from them if you put sculptures into them. With that said, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm going to get out my popcorn because, I mean, anytime you make a tier list like this, people are going to have a lot to say. So if you enjoyed the video, throw a like on here, consider subscribing. And if you're looking for another video breaking down the details on exactly where each of these commanders is strong or weak, I'll have my previous month's tier list right over here. You can go check that out. It'll appear on screen in the credit section. And if you wanted a little bit of a reminder of the philosophy behind good investment, bad investment, that video will also be just over there.